Welcome to the lecture. In the previous lecture, we have seen how to add rows, columns, what is the join and what is slicing and dicing. In today's lecture, we will see that how to remove rows and columns from the data set. So it might happen that some of the rows and some of the columns are not as much as useful for the analysis for our purpose. So you can remove such kind of rows and columns from your data set. So how to remove the rows? So starting from the first one, that is removing the rows. So this is my data frame, that is my variable df3, and it has some rows from 0 to 5 with key index 0 to 5. This is my label, that is key. Second column, that is my A, and then my B, that is column B. Now over here, I am writing that is from data frame, that is from a df3. I want to drop a row with index position 2. So I am writing df3 dot drop, and into the bracket as an argument I am writing that is df3 dot index, and into the square bracket I am writing 2. So whatever the data frame is, that new data frame will be again stored in my variable df3, or we can say the object of the data frame, that is df3, and I am printing that df3 object. Then you can see over here that this is my data frame 3, and I am running this code. So this is how my data frame, that is df3, looks like. That is my column, that is key A, and my column B, and I have all the rows from index position 0 to 5, and I am removing one row with index position 2. So with index position 2, my row is K2, A2 and B2, and you can see over here that my row with index position 2 is removed. So for that you have to use the drop function. So you are writing the object name dot and then the function name. Now to remove a column, and you are writing that is from df3. So my last updated df3, that is my data frame, is this one, which does not contain any row, that is a row with index position 2. Now I am writing that is df3 dot drop, and I want to drop a column with label as A, and comma you have to pass 1. What is this 1? So you must specify an axis as a part of the removal process. So normally its value is 1. So over here you have to write 1. So if I run this code, then what will happen? From my data frame, that is df3, my column will be dropped with label A. So my this column will be dropped, and whatever my new data frame is, that data frame I am storing in my new object, that is df4, and I am printing this df4. Then you can see that this my particular column with label A is removed like this. So you can perform in your data set that you have read through the read underscore CSV function or read underscore Excel function. Now next comes is sorting and shuffling. Now over here, my first one is the sorting. So let's perform the sorting. Sorting means whether you want to perform the sorting in ascending order or whether you want to perform the sorting in descending order. So let's run this code, because I am creating one data frame, that is pd.data frame. I have 3 columns, that is A, B and C, and in the columns I have the values like this. So these are all the values in my data frame, and this shows my row index. So this is my row index. Now I want to perform sorting on column A. So column A contains the values like 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 5 and 4. Now I want to perform the sorting on column A. So I will write like this, that is df dot sort, because my variable name is df. So on the data frame with variable name, or we can say the object name df, I want to perform sorting. So for that I will use the function as sort underscore values. On which column you want to perform sorting? Suppose I want to perform the sorting on column A. So into the bracket I will write by equals to A. That is, into the square bracket you have to write the column label. This A is my column label. And whether you want to perform the sorting in ascending order, so you have to write over here the value of ascending attribute as true. So when I am printing this code, then you can see that my column A is now sorted. It contains the values which is starting from 1, then 2, 2, 2 times, then 3, 3, 2 times, then 4 and 5. And you can see that this is my row with value as 1 in my column A, and it has value in B as 2 and value in C as 3. Then you can see the complete row is changed. So over here, my this particular row is completely shuffled and it comes up. So it is not like that only the sorting on A is performed and B and C remains as it is. No, if the sorting is performed, then corresponding rows will also change, and accordingly the complete shuffling will occur. So this is how the complete row has shuffled up and down. So you can see this row, that is the first row, that is 215 with index position 0, now comes in the second position, that is 215, like this. So like this, from the index position, you will get an idea that a complete data set has shuffled. Now I want to perform the shuffling based on two columns, that is A and B both. So I will write over here that is true and true, like this. So if you print the code, then you can see over here that for two different values, that is I have two values as 2 in my column A, and correspondingly I have two different values, that is 1 and 3 in my B. Then you can see that 1 comes first and B comes 3 comes second in the B column. So this is how the sorting is performed on two columns, and both will be in ascending order. Now I want to perform column A as ascending order and column B as the descending order. Then you can write the false like this. Then you can see the column A has same value, that is 2 and 2, and over here in my column B 3 comes first, then 1 comes second. So you can check over here also, that is 5 comes first and 4 comes next. So like this you can perform ascending and descending on multiple columns also. Now you can see over here that my index position is also changed, but I want the index position from 0 to 6 only. So for that I have to reset the index position. So for that I will use the function name as reset underscore index, and I am writing drop equals to true. So whatever the old value is, that will get removed and my new index position will reset, and my output will be like this. You can see that sorting is as it is, but now my new index position is, now it is showing in all the rows, that is from 0 to 6, like this. Now next comes shuffling. Shuffling means suppose I have 4 statements and I want that 4 statements in any random order. That is first, if the first statement comes fourth also, then it's okay. So like this shuffling will occur on different rows. So when I run this code, then you can see the shuffling will occur. So randomly all the rows will get shuffled. So for that, first of all, I am fetching all the index position, that is df.index.toList. This will print this one, that is index equals to from 0 to 6. I have the rows with index position from 0 to 6. Now for random shuffle, I am using this numpy function, that is np.random.shuffle, and I am randomly shuffling the index position. And that I am passing into this df, that is data frame. So I am writing df.loc, and into the bracket I am writing df.index index. So my data frame will be shuffled like this randomly. Now over here you can also see that it is shuffled randomly, but my index position, that is row index position, is showing as it has shuffled. So I want to reset this indexes, so I will write the function as reset underscore index that we have seen above, and I am writing drop equals to true. Then you can see like this that my index is now from 0 to 6, that is my index position has resetted. My next is the aggregating data at any level. So what is aggregating? So aggregation means you can perform the minimum, sum, maximum values. Then you can create the groups of the different values. So over here we have to see the group by function and the transform function in this topic, that is aggregating data at any level. So I have created one data frame. So this is my data frame. It has animal and maximum speed as the column. Then you can see over here in the animal column, I have two values, that is the falcon 2 times and the parrot 2 times. So over here it shows its maximum speed. So one observation is telling that falcon is having a maximum speed as 380, and next is having next observation is telling that it has a maximum speed as 370. So what I will do, I will just take the mean of these two values. In the similar way for the parrot also, one observation is telling the maximum speed is 24 and second observation is telling maximum speed is 26.0. So which one is true? So I can't delete any row. So for that I will tell that I will take mean of these values. So for that I am writing, that is my variable name on which my this data frame is present, that is my df dot group by. So I am grouping this according to this label, that is the animal label, and I am performing the mean. So I am writing dot mean. Then you can see it has taken the mean of 380 and 370. So my mean comes as 375, and the parrot, you can say the mean value is 25. So it has taken both the values. So how we can perform this? So there are, if there are multiple values and you have multiple observations, different observations on the same value, then you can perform this group by operation. So in a similar way over here, you can see I have data frame like this. This is my person name and this is the gems, that is the count number. The one observation is telling the with Jack, Jack is having 1 gem. Then second observation is telling Jack is having 2 gems, and third observation is telling Jack is having 3 gems. Similarly, Alex, we have the different values of gems, that is 5 and 4. So this Alex is the same person, this Jack is the same person, and this John is the same person. But the values are repeating in the observation. So I can make a group of it. So I will make one group of Jack, one group of Alex, and one group of John. And let's count the total number of gems with Jack. So the total number of gems with Jack will be 3 plus 2 plus 1, that is 6. So for that, I will write the code like this. That is my df dot group by. I will write the label name, that is person and gems, and I am transforming a new column, that is np dot sum. So whatever the values in the gems is, that will be that will be added, and my final value, what it will be stored in my new column, that is dfs. So this is my new column with label s in my data frame. So it will be created, and in that new column my these values will be stored, that is np dot sum. So let's run this code, and you can see over here, that is I have created one new column. So this is my new column S, and what is the value in the S? That is for the Jack, the value will be 3 plus 2 plus 1, that is 6. For the Alex, my value will be 4 plus 5, that is 9. And for John, my value will be 7. Similarly, you can also perform the mean. So for telling the mean, that what is the value of the mean, then for that I am creating the new column, that is dfm, and into that I am performing the mean, that is dot transform. I am writing np dot mean. So this is my new column which tells the mean value. Similarly, I am having the third column which will take the variance. So I am writing over here, that is np dot variance, like this. So like this you can do the aggregating and transformation of the data. So aggregating means I have created the group and the transform both at the same time. So like this, the topic still here, you can perform these two implementations by your own. So consider a data set. You can gather a data set through the Google form of your 10 different friends, and that data set should contain the value like student name, gender, then enrollment number, then 4 semester results, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, with marks of each subject, then is mobile number, city, and you can implement this two definitions in Python. That is plot the graph showing the result of student in each semester. So you can use this group by function, and you can also merge, or we can say the join different data set of different semesters. And you can plot the graph showing the number of male and female students. So for this, you can use the bar graph for showing the count of male and the female students. One more thing, if you want the documentation of the pandas, then you can search on the Google, that is pandas documentation, and your first link will be, that is pandas.pydata.org. So this is the official website of the pandas, from where you can find the documentation of pandas. So over here you can see the version, and for download documentation they are providing a PDF version also. So when you open the PDF like this, so this is my PDF. It shows the complete documentation of the pandas library. So this is so long. This is around 3,000 pages of only documentation part is. So it shows the different uh, operations that you want to perform using the pandas library. So over here, this tells that whatever you want to perform. So it is giving all the information with the syntax. So if you want, then you can go through this book. So keeping it till here, thank you all.